Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with Gran Turismo 7, this time round back with the Nations Cup. Yes, it's exhibition time, Season 2 Round 1, and we're heading to Daytona because, of course, I haven't done enough racing at Daytona over the last couple of weeks. This one, though, is in the Group 1 cars, so it's time for the Mazda 787B to really show what it's worth. So we're going to listen to some rotary today. I've also been promoted up to A license, so we should be in some more competitive lobbies as well, but I managed to do 2 laps of practice, so this is going to go interestingly. We'll jump into qualifying. I'll be happy if I get any sort of lap hooked up. Heading out of the bus stop then. We've only managed to get 1 lap in. Unfortunately, I ran wide through the bus stop on my previous attempt, and then a mistake on this run in towards the second horseshoe has meant we're not going to qualify very competitively. Of course, now up in the A license, we're going to find a lot of people are very, very quick. That's going to put us P11 out of 12 there. The only guy behind was in... I don't know why he's picked the Porsche 919. I'm going to guess it's incredibly slow in comparison. But only 12 cars on the grid. So this one could get quite interesting still. But yeah, it's going to be a tough race. It's just about trying to minimise errors. Well, I think unless that Porsche knows something the rest of us don't, he's probably in for quite a fun time around Daytona here today. But starting from P11 and 24 laps, it does seem like they're trying to experiment with some slightly longer races again. You know, this is going to take the better part of 40 minutes here on Gran Turismo 7. But let's get into it though. Daytona, a lot of rotary engines. I'm not surprised. The stands are packed here today as everyone tries to put the power down. I'm actually running 1 traction control on this car just because I feel like it was worth it to have the extra consistency. As that's a lot of Mazdas crashing into each other down at turn 1. Don't hit me. We've been hit. We have somehow made it through though. We've lost a little bit of time there. The Porsche actually making light work of a lot of us through the first couple of turns, but then no, he hasn't shut around himself. That was someone else as we head through the next couple of corners. Like I said, this today is all about just trying to be consistent, I feel like, in these cars. We are going to see a lot of spinners and a lot of people in trouble throughout the afternoon there. As you can see, another car, well, another 3 cars or so firing themselves off down at the second horseshoe. The Porsche's gone as well. What? Where did I come into 6th? I haven't done anything. And we're immediately into like 6th place in this race there as well. Porsche picked up a half-second penalty as well and then runs very, very wide. I'm now learning you don't really want to short shift this thing either. You've got to try and keep it in the power band. As look at this. Rotary power going up against a hybrid technology. Sometimes the old stuff is still better in the world of motorsport there. Look how much of a gap we're instantly pulling. That is going to be a long old afternoon for that Porsche. It's in towards the horseshoe for the first time. Their second gear, just to make sure you get the nose planted through there. I mean, this car just sounds so amazing as well. Of course, you know, that was the big thing that everyone remembers about the 787B, you know. I think a lot of people often misremember it as being very dominant. It actually wasn't that quick. It was quite lucky to win Le Mans the year that it did. It was actually banned just because they didn't want people doing crazy stuff with rotary engines anymore. So yeah, that was the actual story. You know, it wasn't that this car was dominant or anything like that. It was just a bit impractical. However, the engine was incredibly reliable. Mazda, once they tore it down after the race, believed it could have done another 24 hours with just an oil change, which is always quite an incredible feat. But yeah, we're up to P5 then by the end of lap 1, so we have done a remarkable job siding our way up through the field, but it's exactly what I meant though, about just other cars making mistakes. Of course, we all know just how weird some of the grip levels can be on any track on Gran Turismo, but the sun's starting to set. Doesn't look like we're going to get any rain though, but this is going to be a day to night race. There are definitely a lot of quicker drivers behind me, but like I said, if we could just be smooth, cool, calm and collected, we could still get a big result here. And luckily, it doesn't look like fuel's going to be an issue either. Tyre wear might be though. We'll wait and see. Getting a little bit of a bump from behind there as our traction control tries to kick in once the turbo's spooled up. We're going to have an Italian have a look. Whoa, around our outside there. I am still there, mate. He's going to almost shadow ram himself. No, he's going to hit me. I think he got pinged by the car behind into me. But he is in the shadow ram now, at the very least. I'm guessing what they've tried to do on Gran Turismo is it's 24 laps. I'm guessing it's set to like 60 times speed. So it is like an equivalent of a 24-hour race. There's no GTP cars on any sim yet, apart from iRacing. Maybe R-Factor with the Vandal, I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but that I'm guessing is what they're trying to do, because it has got dark incredibly quickly. There's got another guy now topped up in our slipstream. Of course, everyone that we're going to be battling with is going to be in a Mazda, so take a shot. How many times I almost say the Mazda. But yeah, coming towards the end though of lap 3, it might have to box for new tyres at some point during this race. No guy behind's actually got a penalty. I'm guessing that was for the shadow ramming. The only major problem I've got is down at turn 1. I've got to remember to brake earlier. Of course, like I said, where I've done so much Daytona driving recently, this thing is by far and away the quickest car I've driven around Daytona in recent times. And funny enough, with 1990s brakes and things like that, it doesn't really stop in towards turn 1. Every corner I've just got to brake about 20% earlier than I have been in any other car. Well, we are absolutely not the quickest car here, but I've never been under any illusion surrounding that. But yeah, we're still just hanging on to the positions at the moment. We've now got this guy all over the back of me once more. This time around, he's got no penalty to serve, as I'm going to get bumped down on towards the infield there, but he again is going to chuck himself very wide. Somehow finds the grip there. Won't find the grip out there though, so we will once more keep hold of the position. I can imagine this is probably getting quite frustrating for him, but well, that's a bit wide. You know, we're setting good consistent times. You know, like I said, in the 132s is not fantastic. You know, we're losing time to the Spaniards in front, but kind of just got to keep doing what we're doing here. Like I said, you know, we are now in much more competitive lobbies as well. So P5 I would absolutely take as a first race result, but it is still very, very easy just to slip up. We're only at 1/4's distance, and the night has well and truly descended upon Daytona. We are probably going to have to box at least once, though, looking at that tyre wear. Those tyres are taking quite a pounding. Well, I don't know whether it's a combination of the track getting cooler in the night or what, but pace is definitely still improving. I've short-shifted way too early, though, up into 5th gear. You know, that's the other thing, of course, on Gran Turismo. You've got to learn exactly the gear ratios on these cars. As 31.4, we are getting more and more confident and competitive in this thing. That's a little bit wide there, as we almost get a bump up the rear. But, you know, we're still absolutely doing the job. I think this time around, though, this guy's going to be able to get me. So you might have to go to the high side once more. I'm going to, of course, not deliberately slow myself up any time, but yeah, tucks out in the slipstream then this time around as we head out of the final corner. No, again! How many times is he going to pick up a penalty in this race? That is quite funny there, as again going even faster. Almost now into the 1:30. I mean, this car just, I know I'm going to keep mentioning it, but it sounds so incredible. So incredible. And, you know, I'm happy how good of a job Gran Turismo have done with it. It's always the clip of it tearing around Le Mans. And, you know, people that were there at the time could say you could literally hear it at the opposite end of the circuit over cars that were nearby. It was deafeningly loud. But an absolute piece of automotive history, this thing. A true, proper cultural icon. And, you know, for a lot of people, especially from my generation, made famous by the Gran Turismo franchise. That's a mistake. Down to turn 1. Again, just broke a little bit too late. Come on. Does like to wheel spin though, this car. There's no denying that. It's now actually the Italian behind us again. But I don't know whether he's, obviously, mistakes pending, whether he's actually any quicker than me or not. Bit of a step into the unknown after qualifying. I know I didn't get a good lap on the ball, but I was a bit scared that everyone was just going to be a lot quicker than me. Got our first pitter though at the end of lap 11. I wondered if we'd start seeing a couple of people coming in earlier than originally anticipated there. Both Spaniards in at the end of 11. We've got to try and take these tyres just one lap further. They are getting very worn out, but very briefly we are going to be on the podium. I guess if they're struggling that badly they'll want them. They might have to be forced into a 2-stop, or, I mean, it's going to be very, very tight, but I was kind of there, like, we may as well just take the pain and do 12 laps on both stints, because 13, I think, might just be one too many in this car, but we'll wait and see. You know, a lot can change, but, yeah, we're still, actually, it doesn't cost you a lot of time then, pitting, apparently. One of the Spaniards has come out behind me, but it costs you even less time when I do that in towards the next corner. But yeah, we are going to box at the end of this one though. Definitely not going to try and extend this first stint. These tyres are wrecked. Luckily, of course, don't have to worry about trying to slow the car down into the pit lane, but we have made it to the end of 12 and these tyres are pretty bold. Just definitely don't want to put any intermediates on them. Just need a tiny splash of fuel as well, it reckons, to see us through to the flag. We have used ever so slightly more than half fuel in the first half. I mean, listen to those Mazdas tearing it around this Daytona circuit. I mean, if this was a real race going on, I do believe those grandstands would be as full as they are at the moment, because this thing is just an experience to be around. As there we go, that's enough fuel. The smallest of splashes. Oh, there we go. It does teleport you straight out to pit exit then. Wasn't quite expecting that, because we are going to lose the place to the Italian. But of course, we are going to have fresher tyres to the end. And that one lap that we really struggled and lost a bit of time, of course, that's going to get doubled at the end of the race, where they're going to have 2 laps like that, and we should be okay. Those 13 laps on a single set of tyres is going to be tough. Whoa. Traction control completely cut in there. I know it's a bit cynical to run traction control in this car, but Gran Turismo allows it, so I will absolutely take it. Of course, the other thing we have got to remember is, although the tyres are going to have to go the same distance, we will be lugging around less fuel in this car. And I tell you what, I'm sure this thing drinks its fair share as well to power those 4 rotary power units. But back down in towards someone. We're just trying to keep the Italian close in front of me. You know, I'm not desperate to try and instantly close up to him or anything like that in the second half of this race. We have got to be as well careful. That's late, that's late, that's late. That's also what I've got to be careful of, apparently. Yeah, the Brit behind us as well. He actually went 1 lap longer, so he might be very, very quick towards the end and on a bit of a charge. So it is a bit of a game of chase and get chased. As where am I going on this lap? This has not been the lap to talk about. 10 to go, though, just under here from Daytona. Would be nice if it actually started brightening up again. I don't know what Gran Turismo's obsession is with night racing, but why? Times are definitely starting to improve once more then as we get to 2/3 race distance. Everyone now starting to get towards the 29s as we set a 30.2. I think the guy behind me about to go fastest though. Yep, there we go, 29.6. He is still looking very, very competitive. Still a bit inconsistent though. It is definitely the rabbit versus the hare between us two. But also the Italian is just still inching away from me. He's not much quicker, but he definitely still is. What I'm most impressed about in this race is with 16 laps completed, no one has rage quit yet, which I think is very impressive. That's scary. Almost just face planted the wall as we went out onto the banking once again. Just traction control cuts in and it wants to fire the car off in any which direction. Coming in towards the final 5 laps then, the Italian in front of us starting to struggle even more with the car. We are now going to be into the slipstream. How quick is this thing going to be? Back down in towards turn 1 now then. I mean, this thing can do close to 230 miles an hour, if I'm not mistaken, on Gran Turismo. There goes 220. Nothing! Should be able to do 225 around Daytona road course. The power and the lack of sort of any drag. I think this was the big thing, wasn't it, of course, with these Group C cars. Just the fact, of course, they were designed to go down the Mulsanne with no chicanes as well. So the downforce was kind of just really an afterthought, as Mark Webber found out in the Mercedes a few years later. That even was with the chicanes. I think Mercedes were just mental doing that. But yeah, we've still got to try and find a way around him, though. Of course, in a car this quick, Daytona feels incredibly narrow. So I think that's as well going to be the other difficult thing. But, you know, the banking should help us out. This thing doesn't seem to be particularly slipstream dominated. It doesn't seem to carry you along very much at all. Just try and put the power down out to the oval once again there. Not really getting the run that time round. But, yeah, we've still got the other Brit as well closing in behind us. It might be that all three of us swap places. And I come out of this three-way scrap exactly where I started it in the middle. Bit of a mistake from the Italian there. He's going to run very, very wide as we head out into the banking, but he's going to be able to straighten up the car on the exit and gather up a lot of speed off the turn. 3 more laps to go here from Daytona. Guy behind is only a second back as well now, so it is getting quite difficult. Really, in the perfect world, we'll put the Italian between myself and our fellow Brit and then try to run away as quickly as possible, but that seems easier said than done at the moment. As again, we'll get a nice run out of the bus stop. Again, this guy really trying just to break the toe as best as possible. We will have the grip towards the end where he won't, unless he's really nursed those tyres a lot better than I ever thought would be possible here at Daytona. 224, 225 miles an hour again, though, as we head back down in towards turn 1. And it's quite clear that he is dead set on defending, but running wide like that will not make it any easier. And we're going to swoop through then up into P5 once more of this race. He's going to try and chuck it back up the inside though. Bit of a touring car style move, that one. And sadly now that has brought the other Brit right now into this scrap. But clearly the Italian does not want to lose the spot. Thought, you know, we'd gone fairly defensive there and that he'd just sort of back out of it. But apparently not. Oh, Italian there gets a horrible run. Fellow Brit behind us tries to capitalise as well, but gets a bit caught out by it. And now we've really got to try and make something happen in towards the final 2 laps of this race. Tucked up again in the slipstream. I think this time around we should be a lot closer by the time we get back round towards turn 1. We might even be through. As where on earth is this guy going? Just trying to defend the place as best as possible. See if... Whoa! Thought he was going to try and run wide there, so we just show the nose on the inside, but he clearly wants to be very, very aggressive still with it. He's going to force himself defensive. Whoa, other guy tried to have a look. He's getting very, very close for comfort towards the end of this race. Who will come out on top then? Of course, all the tyres are starting to go off. This guy now is stepping into the unknown for himself, of course. Only took that first set of tyres 11 laps as well. Just car slipping and sliding underneath us. Oh, come on. Don't let the traction control cut in too much. Be smooth on the steering. Be smooth on the throttle. So we'll try and wind our way through. Nice. The sun has come back up, though, here at Daytona. Albeit only for the last couple of laps. But now, fellow Brit is going to be able to sneak through on the inside. And you know what? It might be worth just letting these two battle it out. Seeing if we can try and pick up the pieces towards the end of this race. As hopefully he's going to be able to get a good run out of the bus stop once more to start the final lap of this race. Has been the Italian's kryptonite, as that is not the line for us through there. First time I've properly hashed that up. That's annoying late on in the day, but we'll let them duke it out and see if we can try and capitalise on it, as we've already dropped back quite drastically on this lap. But the Italian is still going to try and defend it for all his worth. He might be just trying to get an insane run out of the bus stop onto the final lap. Please don't say he's just going to let him by. Surely not. As he heads back down in towards turn 1. He's going to be very, very late though on the brakes. Does gather it up just so it keeps it on the circuit. So are we going to see a send coming in? Yes, we are, but still not able to make it happen there. As he's turned him. Oh, he's absolutely sent him to the shadow realm. And are we going to be able to capitalise on this? Not quite in the way I wanted to just yet. But of course, we will get the slipstream. Hopefully, if I can stay close in towards the final few turns. No, I've just skated wide. That is probably going to confine us then to P6 at the end of this. But like I said, I honestly thought from about lap 15 onwards that it was probably just going to be a case of we were going to be quicker than the guy behind, but slower than the... Sorry, quicker than the guy in front, but slower than the guy behind towards the end there, and I thought we would probably be P6 between them, just the other way around to what positions we were running in, and that looks like it's probably going to be the case unless he makes a hash of the final few corners there. But yeah, the German is going to take home the victory. To be honest, I'm pretty happy with how this went in the end, considering how little practice I've been able to come into it with, and just how unpredictable these Mazdas are. You know, a couple of small errors towards the end, but we kept it pretty clean and tidy. We worked our way up to 5th by the end of lap 1, just picking out the carnage. Since then, we never really looked back. We did have the pace to hang on in the race there. Out of the final corner, it is going to be P6 here at Daytona from 11th on the grid. We will absolutely take it there. Very, very happy indeed with that result. You can see the 919, yeah, he was always going to have a bit of a disaster there, running down in last place still. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and we will be back very, very soon with more Gran Turismo 7 content.